Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are continuing my detailed tour of some of my statue collection. Last time I showed you guys my Transformers collection, and today we are going to be looking at this right here. This is another one of my favorite lines, the XM Studios Samurai Batman line. This little section right here is in my studio. This is where I also have my X-Men collection over there. We've got some other stuff over here and in the dark that you guys can't really see. I'll get that lit up when I talk about those sections, but we're focusing right now on these guys right here. This was another line I was all in on. I still might be all in on them, but as you can see, this display case is getting a little full, and XM keeps coming out with more statues. I might have to start being selective on which ones I get because I am running out of space in this setup. I even have statues up on top which are not lit, so I'm gonna have to get some light up there to show you guys. But anyway, this is the Samurai Batman line. A lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it. And if you guys aren't familiar with this line, basically XM Studios took Batman characters and they put them kind of in feudal Japan, but not really because they're modernized as well. So they have like Japanese inspired elements, whether it's the costuming, the weapons, the surroundings that you wouldn't necessarily see in a Batman comic or movie. So I love the creativity of these pieces. Now, if you're a Batman purist, I can understand, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, so maybe that's not your thing. Even if you're not a huge fan of the subject matter, you have to appreciate some of the details that go into these statues. But today we'll go through everything. This is pretty much everything that they've produced so far. They've got 3 or 4 pieces that are still in production. I'm not sure if I'm getting all of them. I don't know. Maybe you guys can talk me into it. I've got them all displayed in a Maju case unit. Actually, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different Maju case units, I believe, that are kind of all put together to make this one display. Maju cases are great. They've got the acrylic on the front and sides. They look very classy, very sleek, and everything is protected from the elements. I've got the mini spotlights. They also have kind of the LED strips as well, but I find that doesn't really allow me to focus light where I want it. They also have white Maju cases, which help bounce a lot of light around. I don't like a whole lot of light on my statues. Being a photographer, I like to direct light where I want it. The darker black background helps me do that. I would like to get a little bit more light on these. The way the spotlights are positioned, they kind of just go up in the corners, but I'd like to do some maybe rewiring when I have the chance and add a few more lights in there. Taking these things apart and removing the statues in order to get to all the wiring doesn't sound fun to me. So this is the lighting with the Maju case lights. I'm gonna go ahead and put some other lights on there so I can light up what's above this whole thing. And so you guys can see some more of the details here. Now we can see what's up here on top. We've got a few other Samurai Batman, and then we have Samurai Wolverine, which I kind of stuck up there. Eventually I'll move him out. Maybe I can put that Killer Croc up there. I'm gonna take off the acrylic here so I can show you guys these things without all the glare. Panels are just attached magnetically. They just come off like so. And the Maju cases do a pretty good job at keeping the dust out. There is some dust that accumulates, of course. So we're starting up here in this little cube right here. When this line started, I liked having 1 piece per cube. Right now I've got 2 in some, which is looking a little crowded. I don't even think I could fit 3 or would want to even try to fit 3. Up here, I've got Bane and Poison Ivy. The Bane here is really cool. He's kind of got this crouching, hunched over pose, which makes him look a lot smaller than he is, especially with some of the crazy giant Bane statues that we're seeing these days. All of these samurai pieces come with some pretty cool head switch outs, some that look a little bit more like the traditional character. For the most part, I tried to keep at least the portrait looking a little bit more like the character, a little bit more recognizable. But the Japanese options are very cool as well. It's just that people might not know who the character is, especially if you change the face. He's got all these crazy tubes going in and out with his venom, but you can see all the detail that's put into all these mechanical elements. This guy comes with a variety of weapons as well. Here I've got him with a big axe. He also has this big like club. However, with the lighting, it kind of shadows his face, so I opted for this axe. Looking at him after I've got the other pieces, maybe he could have been a little bit bigger. Still like this guy a lot. Then we come to Poison Ivy. This one is a pretty sought after piece. I don't think a lot of people got it when it initially came out. I think it's one of the coolest Poison Ivies around. She has a geisha head sculpt as well. I kind of like this one, holding this little mask in front of her face. She's got the little umbrella, a lot of little details in her dress. Then of course she has the plant monsters all around her. The little cherry blossoms, kind of got the vines growing on her legs, kind of gives a tattooed type appearance. This one has a fairly small footprint as well. This is definitely one of my favorite pieces from this line. And moving into our next cube, we have the Penguin. I was able to review the prototype for this piece. Here is the production piece. Came out just as stunning as the prototype, with a few exceptions. For example, this guy came with a giant umbrella that kind of goes over this whole thing. However, they changed it from a sculpted umbrella to a material umbrella. I didn't like it at all, so that's why it's not displayed here. I don't think it needs it. It also creates shadows. When this one came out, they didn't have a whole lot of penguin statues either. So this was my chance to get a penguin in my collection. It's almost more about the whole setup than just the penguin character himself. I mean, we've got all these other little penguins around him that are kind of holding this sedan chair that he's sitting on. This little penguin right here, serving up some guns. Got all these little rockets, jewels, basket. Just some crazy details in this piece as well. If you haven't seen that detailed review video, make sure to check it out if you're interested in this piece. Like I said, the production piece looks just as good as the prototype did, if not better. It definitely fit together better. You'll be able to see some of the Easter eggs too that are behind this guy that I can't see right now. This guy is big. Obviously, he takes up this entire cube. There's no room to put anything else around him. So that's why he's kind of sitting up here like a king in this center section. And then in this upper right corner, we have Red Hood and Batgirl. Red Hood is one of the newer pieces. I thought he looked pretty awesome. Look at that mask on him. A lot of cool armor on this guy, as well as the traditional Japanese elements. This one too came with a relatively small base compared to some of his counterparts. Again, a lot of different weapon switch outs with guns, and then your more traditional katana. He has an unmasked portrait as well, but you know, this is Red Hood. You gotta have a red hood, or at least some kind of red helmet. He's got this red gi on as well. Very cool. Then we have Batgirl. Batgirl is an older piece, a little harder to get these days. Lots of options with her as well, with swords, different head sculpts. This one, she's got a little cape on, but there's another option without the cape. Some people were reporting like a leaning issue with her. So I kind of have this foam just tucked under her leg to add some extra support. I think she looks good overall. She's a smaller character, but her base is pretty huge. It's got kind of this stone giant that's holding up this giant wood structure. She actually has a bigger base than Red Hood does. But these two fit in this cube pretty nicely. I like that she's a little bit more elevated, but there you go. That was the top row here. Actually, that's the top row up there. I'll have to get a ladder and climb up there and show you guys. All right, so here we are up with the OG Samurai Batman. This is kind of where it all started for XM Studios, and you can see why it became so popular. I mean, this guy looks incredible. pretty much like an armored Batman, but you do get some of those Japanese elements with some of this armor and this head sculpt right here with this kind of samurai-inspired cowl. This guy had a ton of switch outs as well, but he's up here on this rooftop base. It's a little dusty up here, but I should get up here with a vacuum. So with this line, they've already made 3 different Batman statues. Since I am a completionist, I got them all. If I want to continue this line, I might have to get rid of one of these Batman. Probably not going to be this guy since he's the OG, but the Shogun one that I'm about to show you, I like it, but of the 3 Batman, I think I like it the least. All right, and here we are. We're over here. I got some of those switch outs way back here collecting dust, but we don't see those from the ground. But here we have the 3rd Batman in the line. This is the Batman Shogun. Definitely has all the details that you'd expect from the line. The cool armor, the weapons, the switch outs. He's standing on this very cool bat signal, which has a light up as well, but I never light it up. This thing also, I think, rotates. Yeah, it's on like its own little turntable. So you can kind of reposition this guy however you like. Pretty cool. It's got this kind of patinaed look on some of this metal. If I knew they were going to be making so many Batman Samurai pieces, I might not have gotten this guy just because I already had 2 Batman. And then this guy is not part of the line, but since he's up here, might as well show you. This is the Samurai Wolverine. This one is a custom. It's got this cool dragon on the back, which I think is the coolest part of the statue. He's not heavily armored, but he does have some of this cool traditional Japanese attire on. He's got all these head switch outs as well. This one was a little bit too tall to put with my other Wolverines, so that's why he's kind of living up here on top of this Maji case. Now we are moving down to this section right here. This unit right here is a max 150 for anybody that was wondering. These could definitely fit larger statues. And this shelf right here is adjustable up and down, so you can kind of set whatever height you wanted. You could have very tall statues in here. And I think this thing is pretty deep as well. I've got Harley and the Joker set up here. The Joker is a really tall statue. He's really big. Some say he's a little bit overscaled. I think it works out well here since Harley is a shorter statue, so we're able to still see him above her. This one came with 2 different versions, version A and B. One of the versions had an additional head sculpt. I opted not to get that version just because I like this portrait the best. I like the green hair and the expression on his face kind of licking this sword. So I opted to save a few bucks. Probably won't be changing up the display very much as far as switch outs go with this guy. This is how I like him. This is called the Joker Orochi. I believe the Orochi is an 8-headed dragon. You can see he's got the tattoos on his body with the skulls. A lot of detail in this attire that he has, as well as the armor. And it's all thematically colored correctly with the greens and purples. He also has this really cool cape, really nice texture on it. Same thing with his coat. Then moving up here, we've got Harley. She too came with kind of the white face geisha look. I like this look as well. We can kind of see the red and blue eyeshadow, fiery lipstick, portrait every now and then as well. She's got the hammer, or in this case, a kendama. A few years ago, I don't know, my kids were all about kendamas at their elementary school. Everyone had them and would be playing with them at recess. But basically it's this game where you kind of flip the little ball and try and get it to balance on the wooden part. So I thought that was kind of clever. Here's a look at her robe. You can see kind of that checkerboard pattern in a kimono style. Then she's got these roller derby knee pads, definitely some modern style shoes. And then what some people didn't like is her pink scooter. Why does she have a pink scooter or Vespa in feudal Japan? But again, this is kind of not totally feudal Japan, kind of a futuristic Japan with these ancient elements. Here's some little Easter eggs here with the Joker and the little dogs. One of them's biting little Batman. Then of course we've got some bamboo up here, the traditional kind of lantern, and the cobblestone paved street. But there you go. That was a look at Harley. And since we got this one open, let's go down here. And we've got Deathstroke. So this one, again, I think this one was an older piece as well. It's got this really cool base. I really like this base. This guy came with an unmasked portrait as well. It's a Deathstroke, so I think I need a mask on Deathstroke. It's got a flag back there. I mean, this thing looks pretty much like Deathstroke with Japanese armor on. You're gonna see later, his pose pretty much mirrors Nightwing's pose. The design suggested that you kind of display the two in opposition, but that was before they came out with all the other Robins. All right, so right here in the center of the display, we have the piece that kind of started it all for me for this samurai line, and that is the Shogun Batman. This was the very first piece I pre-ordered. I kind of missed some of the earlier ones when they first came out. I decided to pick this one up because it looked really cool. I didn't have any horses in my collection. I got it, I unboxed it, did a full review on it, and was kind of blown away by the details of this piece and the line in general. So once I got this piece, I had to start tracking down all the other ones, which has led us to what you're seeing here today. This piece is incredible. The detail, the sculpt, the movement, just some really cool stuff. Is it a horse? Is it a mechanical horse? I don't think we really know. Could be some kind of cybernetic horse, I guess. Some cool switch outs with this one as well. We've got this Joker kind of head statue that's been destroyed by the horse, I guess standing on it. Down here on the bottom, we have the Catwoman. This one was probably the least feudal Japan out of everything, because just check out this bike right here. That is not even a bike we'd see today. This is some kind of like concept motorcycle. Definitely looks futuristic. We have the little cat there. I mean, we have some brick on the sidewalk. Her outfit doesn't really suggest feudal Japan, but she does have a cool little helmet. She's got her bag of jewels that she's stolen. I've got her with this little masked portrait. I think the only thing that makes us think of Japan might be this futuristic bike and how it kind of reminds me of like the motorcycles maybe in like Akira. A lot of collectors were kind of mixed on this one. It doesn't really fit in the line like the others do, but it is a cool statue. The base on this one makes this piece huge. Again, taking up pretty much this entire cube. Up here we have some of the more recent pieces. We have the Nightwing, and we also have the Scarecrow. Let's take a look at Nightwing first. I think this is an awesome Nightwing. Of course, we've got the hints of blue, but this kind of mask portrait with the mask just on the eyes. He's got a little ponytail going on here as he's reaching back for an arrow. Got this really detailed bow, some very cool armor. The metallic paint on this one looks really good. Love the boot design. And then he is standing atop another statue with all the broken up wood. This is the only Nightwing in my collection, so definitely the coolest one I have. And then back here we have Scarecrow. This one is the most recent addition to the collection. I did review the prototype, and this one came out just as good as that prototype. There were some that didn't really care for this Scarecrow, but I think it checked all the boxes for me. Definitely looks freaky, like a Scarecrow should. This one came with a more Scarecrow looking face, but I kind of like this human zombie looking face. The other one also had like an Asian rice hat on. It really shadowed the face. It also comes with a nice little necklace, all this beaten up attire, some little pumpkin bombs, some very interesting leg and footwear. And then on the bottom, we kind of have this demon with all the fear toxin smoke coming out of it. The green and yellow add a nice pop of color to this piece, which is pretty neutral and brown for the most part, but nice scary looking horror piece. And then finally we come down here to the Robin. I really like the colors on this one. We got the very bright green and red. Definitely know it's Robin. We got the big R right there. Got the nice black glossy pants, and then the metallic green armor on the boots. Looks really cool. This one's got the hood. He's also got one where he's kind of got like this faux hawk going on, but I like the hood the best. It's got a yellow cape in the back with these kind of burnt up fringed edges. This pose also kind of mirrors the Nightwing. So is it overused? Maybe a little bit in this line, being that it's very similar to Deathstroke. He's holding his little bow here, got a little sword in the front hand, and then down here we got like a giant bell. Again, that same metal patina look that the bat signal has for the Batman Shugo piece. So a lot of these pieces have this broken up wood, and this one actually has the vines and the blossoms that the Ivy statue has. So it's kind of cool to see these repeating elements among the bases of these. Kind of makes them all fit together pretty well, except for that one right there. Pretty cool looking Robin. So there you have it, guys. That is a look at the XM Studios Batman Samurai line, at least all the ones I have so far. Like I said, there's going to be a Riddler, a Batwoman, and a Killer Croc still to come. Now, I could get those three and maybe squeeze them in here or replace that Wolverine up there on top. But after that, I don't know if I can fit any more. Stay tuned. I have a lot more to show you guys. Today we looked at 16 different statues that I have lined up here in this section. Still have a bunch more with the X-Men, my traditional quarter scale Batman statues, all the Spider-Man statues, Hulk, all that good stuff is still to come. I'll probably do the X-Men next, since that's my next big section. Then maybe the Spider-Man section in the comic book room, and then finish things off with a walkthrough of everything. All the other statues that don't really have their own theme section, as well as some of the original art, Funko Pops and toys and comic books that I have. But stay tuned for that. That's coming up. I also have some things I need to unbox as well to add to the collection. So make sure, if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and we'll be back with more content soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.